bless America.
The Pope spoke to members of Congress today. Find out what he said tonight.
And Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue is back in town. We'll tell you about some of the good eats you can expect here this weekend.
Also, victims of the South Carolina church shooting are being remembered. Find out how as UATV News starts now.
Welcome to this Thursday night edition of UATV News. I'm Christopher Redfern. Tonight we have team coverage from Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. That's where you'll find my co-anchor, Sawyer Bussey, down on Dixon Street, right in the middle of all the action. Sawyer, what's happening down there?
That's right, Chris. I am live on Dixon Street for the 16th annual Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue Festival. This is actually the third largest bike rally in the nation, but there's something that sets it apart from other rallies. Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue actually donates and raises thousands of dollars for charity every year, and Dixon Street won't be the only place to celebrate. You can celebrate with everyone else for Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue this weekend at Arvis Ballpark, Washington County Fairgrounds, and the Baum Stadium. Well, guys, bike rallies like this bring in people from all over the world, and Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue is no exception. Cassie Sherm is live with the story. Cassie.
Hey guys, I've been hanging out here on Dixon Street. As you can see, there's tons of people all over the place. But what you'd be surprised is a lot of these people aren't from Arkansas. I met people earlier today from California, Oregon, Delaware, and a lot of different states.
No, not yet. I have one more
package. And you'd
package.
be surprised, I met a lot of foreigners as well. I met people from Australia, Germany, and London. It's been a really great time hanging out with them. But I got to talk to a couple, and they drove all the way from Aruba.
We created the bikes and then we put them in a container, and the container left from Aruba to Miami. And then in Miami we unloaded the bikes, and then from there we drove up because, you know, after a while you've done riding Aruba. So that's why we grabbed the chance to come to the States.
I spent time talking to the couple, and they told me this was their first time in the United States. They're with a group of 24 other people from Aruba, and they took 10 hours a day riding their bikes all the way from Miami to Fayetteville. A lot of them had no idea what exactly Fayetteville was before coming here and are liking it so far. The whole group itself is Novos Coast, which means we're together. A lot of them believe in the same thing on why they ride their bikes.
Propaganda for the United States, but that's what your country stands for. It's freedom when you're on a bike, and you need to experience this. You feel free. The things that bother you, they leave you, and the vibration of the bike, it just gives me goosebumps.
So told me that he likes the American roads better because they're
Cecil.
wider and they can go a lot faster. He said that he would have never liked Fayetteville before, but now he loves it. Now back to you guys at the desk. I'm Cassie Sherm.
Thanks, Cassie. Well, thousands of people come to this festival from all over the world, but share the same love for bikes. Well, guys, with all the people that come to Fayetteville for this rally, they're expecting some serious entertainment and also some great food. UATV's Ellen Hain had a chance to sit down with a few Bikes, Blues, and
It's that time of the year. Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue kicked off yesterday here in Fayetteville. While you can hear the music and bikers up and down Dixon, the smell of funnel cakes, corn dogs, and barbecue is filling the air. The food stands are up and ready for business.
People that walk through here to get in and out of the beer garden, the music stage, and they're all looking for good food.
With all of the food stands down here and the variety of foods, each ingredient and each recipe has a story. Some of these people have been doing this for years, and for some it might be their first time.
We've been doing the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue now for 8 years. You know, we go everywhere. There's a lot of good places out there. Every week you want to be challenged as far as, you know, wanting people to enjoy your food.
For people like Mark Grant, a Fayetteville native, competitive cooking and festivals is a weekly job, traveling all over the country. Bikes, Blues, and Barbecues happens to be the one he enjoys the most.
You know, Fayetteville, obviously, it's home, so that's probably my favorite show.
Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue brings an experience to all food vendors, and some enjoy it year after year.
I love coming back here. A lot of bikers, a lot of bikes, a lot of good food, and lots of good music.
Reporting for UATV, I'm Ellen Hain.
The food stands will be open all weekend and are located right outside the beer garden by the railroad tracks on Dixon. Now, it looks like a great night down there on Dixon. Let's go ahead and head down to Cecil for a look at your weather. I apologize, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties, so we're going to move on and we'll try to get a look at your weather later on. A new study finds Arkansas at the top of its list. This month, Arkansas was named the leader of the nation in adult obesity rates. UATV's Sarah Arnaldi has more.
Sad news, you could say.
Arkansas is now #1, and it's not something to brag about. According to a report from Trust for America's Health, we have the highest adult obesity rate at 36% of the state's population. This moves us above Mississippi, which has had the highest rates the past 3 years.
We value speed and convenience over quality, and recognizing that our bodies are a true gift and something that really needs our attention and our priority.
Dr. Sabrina Trudeau is a professor in the Department of Human Environmental Sciences.
Lots of us know lots of things that we should be doing, and yet we're still not doing them.
Trudeau believes hope is not lost. Recruited to the U of A to research obesity, she says this sad statistic may help us solve the problem.
It's easier to figure things out when something's in the process of a drastic change. It makes it a little bit more easier to put your finger on the cause.
Aside from research, the university provides multiple resources for students' health. Gyms, nutritionists, and the Student Health Center are all accessible to get students ready to improve their health right now on campus. Just take the time to make the right decisions and to focus on what you're doing, because each decision you make throughout the day can impact your health. Reporting for UATV,
For more information on those resources you could find on campus having to do with obesity rates, visit our website, uatvonline.net. For the first time ever, a pope has addressed a joint meeting of Congress. It's the latest stop in a very busy visit to our nation's capital, with both the houses of Congress and presidential candidates looking on Pope Francis's spread to message of love and peace. He urged lawmakers to take action on the key issues like migration, climate change, and war.
Politics is instead an expression of our compelling need to live as one in order to build as one the greatest common good.
After the speech, Pope Francis passed on lunch with lawmakers and saw firsthand efforts to fight poverty and homelessness when he helped serve lunch to some of 250 of D.C.'s homeless. The Arkansas Attorney General is going to ask the Supreme Court to uphold the Arkansas's Human Heartbeat Protection Act. Leslie Rutledge's request comes after a 3-judge panel affirmed a ruling that prohibiting abortions after 12 weeks is constitutional. The petition will be filed in the coming weeks. Now we are going to try to go back down to Dixon for a look at your weather. Let's see how it's looking out there.
All right, guys. Well, it is a gorgeous night here on Dixon Street. But Cecil, what can we be expecting for the rest of the weekends? Conditions like this, or?
Yeah. Right now it's currently 72 here on Dixon. If you look up and look around, we're partly cloudy, but not too much cloud cover. Not too much humidity up here in northwest Arkansas. It's very little, so it's not going to be too hot. It actually feels about 72 right now. We got the train coming by. Lots of people out here enjoying it.
It's about to get pretty loud.
It's about to get pretty loud. So. That's about it for us.
Thank you so much, Cecil. All right, guys, we're going to shoot it back to the desk with Chris Wedfern to find out the rest of today's headlines. Chris.
Still to come in national news, find out Croatia's actions towards Serbia's refugees. And later, a famous lost painting has been found. All that and more coming up next.
Welcome back to UATV. A church in South Carolina is honoring the victims of this year's shooting. With more details, we send it over to Callie Barkwell for your national and world news.
Thanks, Chris. A portion of Charleston, South Carolina has been renamed in honor of the victims and survivors of June's church shooting in the city. Lawmakers, parishioners, and others gathered in the church where the shootings occurred to make the occasion. Today, support spilled out of the historic church, which stands as the oldest of its kind in the South. A church that is still grieving, but still standing over on Mother Emanuel Way.
Way means manner, arrangement, road our path. So for us, Mother Emanuel Way is the path to healing and forgiveness.
The memorial drew to a unanimous vote among Charleston City Council to honor the fallen. In Saudi Arabia, at least 717 people have been killed in a deadly stampede near the holy city of Mecca. More than 800 have been injured. The stampede occurred during the ritual known as stoning the devil. Hundreds have been killed in the past years during the same ceremony. Long lines of transport trucks continue to grow at the Serbian and Croatian border as the disputes over migrants escalated between the two countries. Croatia imposed the blockade over the weekend to stem the flood of migrants and refugees, which it accused Serbia of channeling across its border. A New Jersey auction house thought a painting that obtained from a real estate sale would go for a few $100s, but after a few bidders believed the work was from the famous Dutch artist Rembrandt, the price went through the roof.
The opening bid was $250, and it was competing telephone bids, both coming in from Europe and both determined to get the piece. And after $500,000, it went $10,000 increments up to $870,000.
The painting acquired from an estate sale of a family in Essex County is considered a rediscovered masterpiece. Until this discovery, the painting's whereabouts were unknown. The new owner of the painting lives in Europe and so far has remained anonymous. Well, that's what's happening around the world today. I'm Callie Barkwell. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Callie. After the break, we'll head back out to Cecil Anderson on Dixon Street with a look at your forecast. Stick around. UATV will be right back.
Hey guys, welcome back to UATV. This is Cecil Anderson with the weather. We're out here on Dixon Street with Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, but let's take a look at your national weather real quickly. Right now, current surface temperatures around the United States. We got a low pressure boundary out there near western Texas, the high pressure. But right now, if we go ahead and look at our current temperatures, you can see there's a little heat stroke going up through the Sun Belt. Here in Arkansas, it looks about to be 91. If you'll go ahead and you look down to the winds, you can notice that there's not a lot of blowing around here. So that's really good. There's not a lot of wind out here for the Bikes and Barbecue. But if you look at the pollen map, you can see that we are in a high concentration over here in northwest Arkansas. All right, let's go ahead and move ahead to the 5-day weather forecast. 5-day weather forecast. We have a high of 82 on Friday, 55 on 55's low for Friday. Saturday, we have we've got a high of 80, a low of 56. Going into Sunday's high of 77, low of 58. Moving into next week with Monday, a high of 83, a low of 59. And Tuesday, we have a high of 84 and a low of 60. For those of you heading down to Dallas, Texas to call the Hogs, it will be partly cloudy at game time. Yeah, go Hogs. 83 degrees, but it will have 39% humidity out there in Dallas. So, guys, it's going to feel a lot hotter than it is in Jerry World. Luckily, inside on the Chris.
Apologies for those audio problems. It looks like it should be good weather for the weekend for all the bikers in town. Well, one automaker is facing allegations over harmful emissions. Another automaker, actually, after the VW incident. A German magazine reports that at least one of BMW's models breached European pollution limits by a wide margin. In road test, BMW says it's not familiar with the road test mentions by the magazine and is seeking clarification. BMW stock fell to its lowest level in 2 years due to the article. This college couple is celebrating for a different reason, an attempt to break the world record for the longest hug. The current world record clocks in at 24 hours, 33 minutes. And while not yet official, if their 32-hour hug is confirmed, they promise to defend the title. A Japanese man has set a new Guinness World Record in track and field at the ripe old age of 105. Hidekichi Miyazaki completed the 100-meter sprint in 42.22 seconds Wednesday, entering the record books as the oldest competitive sprinter. Miyazaki said he didn't take up track and field until the age of 93. And in more unconventional sports, some competitive eaters are trying to help the Chicago Cubs win their first World Series in more than a century by helping themselves to a mound of meat. Goat meat, to be precise. The goal is to break the curse of the billy goat, said to have haunted the Cubs since 1945. As for the Cubs, they're 3 games away from seeing their first postseason run since 2008. Almost 2,000 buildings have been destroyed by California's Valley Fire. But take a look at one special item that survived the heat. Eric Lopez hid a diamond engagement ring behind his TV, which was left behind when they had to evacuate.
That's when I started getting worried and kind of upset because I knew I had a ring in the house. And she didn't know.
When they finally returned to the ashes, the ring was still there. Eric plans to officially pop the question sometime in the future, but is glad she already loves the ring. Well, after the break, David Green will have a look at the Southwest Classic. Stay tuned, UATV will be right back.
The next opponent for the Arkansas Razorbacks is number 14, Texas A&M. Texas A&M is coached by Kevin Sumlin, who is in his 4th year and is 31-11 at Texas A&M. The Aggies were 8-5 last year and were 3-5 in the SEC, which was 6th in the SEC West. A&M returned 6 starters on offense and is led by quarterbacks Kyle Allen and Kyler Murray, as well as a receiving corps filled with 5-star recruits such as Speedy Noyle, Ricky Seals-Jones, and Christian Kirk. Kirk leads the team with 269 yards. The defense is led by new coordinator John Chavis and 6 returning defenders. Sophomore defensive end Myles Garrett led the team with 14 sacks last year and has 5.5 this season. The game is Saturday at 6 at Cowboy Stadium in Arlington. The game will be televised on ESPN2. This year's game between Arkansas and Texas A&M is at Cowboy Stadium, but the Aggies would like to change that in the future. When Texas A&M joined the SEC in 2008, they signed an agreement to play Arkansas in Dallas through 2024. Texas A&M Athletic Director Eric Hyman says that when they signed the deal, it was because Dallas Stadium was a football mecca and A&M was still a few years away from renovating Kyle Field. Hyman argues that the game should be moved because it takes away a home game and puts a financial burden on fans. Arkansas Athletic Director Jeff Long argues they need to keep the game because Arkansas bases recruiting efforts on the game. Hyman says he wants to do what's best for Aggie supporters, but at the earliest, the game will be played in Dallas for the next few years. The assistant coach accused of ordering a hit on the ref in a high school football game has resigned. Assistant coach at John Jay High School in Texas, Mac Breed, was put on leave after being suspected of ordering his players to hurt official Robert Watts for using racial slurs during a game on September 4th. Breed was supposed to attend a meeting this morning in front of the Texas High School sports governing body, but instead chose to resign after his admission. Watts denies using racist language despite accounts from numerous coaches and players. The players made an appearance on Good Morning America saying that the coach specifically pulled them aside and told them to teach the ref a lesson. The 2 players are cleared to return to school for the spring semester, but it is not known whether they will be allowed to play football again. After the break, Cecil will have a look at tomorrow's Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue forecast.
Hey guys, we're back out here on Dixon Street. Let's have a look at your forecast for Friday, September 25th, 2014 at noon. It's going to be about 75. Those of you get out of class at 3 p.m., head on down to Dixon because it's going to be 79 for those of you that are coming out here later on in the afternoon. 6 o'clock, we're looking at 77 degrees, and it's only going to go down. Sawyer, what do you think about that?
It sounds beautiful. Well, guys, thank you for joining us for tonight's live coverage of Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. I'm Sawyer Bussey. This is Cecil Anderson. We're going to switch it on back to the desk with Christopher Redfern.
Thanks, guys. I also want to thank our team down on Dixon for really getting the story down there. That's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Christopher Redfern. Have a great night.